Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a nitty yarny podcast from the southwest of France. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this new episode. I hope you are doing well, that if you are in the middle of a heat wave, like we are in Europe, that you're okay. An episode for you with some new things to share, finally new projects. And yeah, I'm going to start right away with just a heads up. Last time I told you about the Page of Wands mystery knit-along, which is my first mystery knit-along. It's a colorwork cowl that is themed around tarot, the tarot cards. So it's a mystery knit-along that we're going to do, and it starts next week. So if you're curious, if you like colorwork, if you like tarot, you can have a look at the video presentation that I did. It is published on my YouTube channel. I explain everything about the project, everything that you need to know. But yeah, if you would like to join, I'd be honored. You also have all the information on the pattern pages for the mystery knit-along, both on Ravelry and on my PayHip store. So you can find everything that you need to know there. And we will have the first clue, so the first set of instruction, the first colorwork motifs, the first set of tarot cards that are drawn in colorwork will come on August 21st. So, yay! Yes, if you want to join, you still have 1 week to sort of make up your mind, and then of course you can keep joining as the mystery knit-along is running. But if you want to start with everyone else, I just wanted to remind you that we start on the 21st. I have a few things to share, so I'm gonna start right away. You can find timestamps to all the different sections of the podcast in the description down below. So if you want to skip anything, feel free to look at that and jump ahead. I also put links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media and patterns for sale on PayHip and Ravelry. I always say that, but I know you guys don't listen because I sometimes have people saying that they didn't like a certain part of the podcast. Don't watch it and just jump to another section if you're not interested in whether it's my patterns, whether it's a certain craft, because we will talk about other crafts today. Just don't watch what you're not interested in. And I also often have people asking me for the links of the things that I presented. They are all in the description. Sometimes they don't work, but 99% of the time they do. And yeah, I just put links to the yarn shops, the patterns that I mentioned. Everything is in the description, so you have all the information there. Yay! I can start with the first step of the podcast and the pattern that I just released on Ravelry. And it is this top that I'm wearing. And it's the last summer t-shirt of the season, and so it is a t-shirt, and I'm gonna try and show it to you in my usual graciousness. So yay, it is a drop shoulder tee. It's knitted bottom up, so you start at the bottom, you knit the body in the round up until the armholes, then you separate front and back, and you knit them flat, you shape the neckline round, then you join the shoulders with a 3-needle bind off, and then you pick up stitches for the neckline and for the sleeves and for the bottom hem. Yay! And it's the 3x1 rib that finishes everything. And so now I'm going to try and turn around because the interesting thing is happening here. And voila! So we have a lace motif all over the back of this t-shirt. I don't know if you can see anything, but it's a pretty simple lace motif with simple stitches, twisted stitches, simple decreases. And yes, it is really, really fun to work because you have, in between each motif, you have this purl stitch that basically separates every repeat, so you can sort of tell where you are fairly easily Maybe if I show it to you from that side, it's better. Yeah, a little bit. And yeah, it starts at the bottom with the feathered hem up until the top, where you finish just by knitting as established as you shape the neck a little bit. And yes, so I've been wanting to design a t-shirt with an all-over lace back for a while, and I thought this lace motif was so very fitting because it is really, really nice. And I really like it. So, yay! This is Xyris. So, yeah, it is a really, really simple basic construction that you can easily adapt to your taste, and like whether you want it more cropped, whether you want it longer. One of my testers even did a v-neck, which was lovely. So yeah, it is a really nice summer top. I just wanted a summer project that just, you know, you kind of have something to motivate you with the lace, and it just keeps going on and on. But at the same time, it knits up really quickly. So I used BC Garn Bio Balance, which is a blend of, I think it's 55% wool, 45% cotton, but it might be the opposite. Basically, it's almost half wool and cotton. It's Ghost certified. It's an organic yarn. BC Garn are known to have that sustainability in mind. And I really, really like this yarn. I've talked about this before. Basically, it deletes the problems of cotton because you have the advantage of having something that's light, of having the little heathered effect because the cotton doesn't take the dye as well as the wool, but it's still very light and drapey. It has a good stitch definition. And it's not dragging down, it's not big and heavy like some cotton knits can be. So I really, really like this yarn. And I think this is a shirt that I'm gonna be able to wear quite a lot in as soon as it's not 40 degrees anymore. Yeah. I've decided I'm moving to Iceland. I know a lot of people have said they want to come with me, so I suggest we all drive together to save some fuel. Yes. But yeah, I really, really like the yarn. A lot of my testers also used BC Garn Bio Balance for this. It's really easily available in Europe. I'm not sure how available it is in the States, or in other parts of the world. But this top pretty much suits any type of fingering weight yarn that you might think of. Sport weight as well, whether it's linen blends, other types of cotton blend, or your typical merino. Basically the gauge is not too loose. It's a standard fingering weight gauge, so you can accommodate a bunch of different yarns for that. And you just need something with a bit of drape and a decent stitch definition for the lace. But yeah, most yarn will do just great. And yeah, I really hope you like it. I really do. I think it's really fun, and it's like surprisingly easy to knit. It's like you trick people with that lace, but it's actually fairly simple to knit, and it just has a really cool effect. So I also really like the open neckline, which is quite rare for me. But yeah, I do wear a lot of my summer knits. I wear them more in the mid season, so like in September, the very beginning of autumn, or in spring. Yeah, I just wear them at that moment, or I layer them with a cardigan or something. So this is gonna be absolutely lovely once it stops being hell on earth, basically on earth. Basically. Yeah. So I think I've said everything about Xyris. Like I said, it's a really simple summer top, and it just has a really, really pretty back. And if you like it, there is 15% off for the release of the pattern on Ravelry. So via Ravelry, you can use the code Xyris to give you 15% off until Sunday. And if not, on my PayHip store, the pattern is always going to be 20-ish% less than it is on Ravelry, just so that you can have access to it if you require a more accessible price point. You can also, on PayHip, modify the price. So if you want to pay more to support me more, you can via PayHip. But yeah, it is basically available on all the platforms that I am on, and you can find all the links and details in the description if you like it. And yeah, do check my tested versions. Like I said, a lot of them use the same yarn as I did, so you're gonna see a lot of different color version. It is a really, really cool, affordable yarn. BC Garn is a lovely brand for that. They have sustainably, ethically made yarn. They have their typical Shetland wool, they have this cotton blend, they have alpaca, and yeah, they have really good price points. So if you can have access to the brand, I highly recommend. If not, your favorite summery type of fingering weight yarn will work just fine for this. So yes, I think that's it for Xyris, which is a flower. And yes, I chose this name because it would help me achieve my goal of having an alphabet of designs. So if you don't know what I'm doing, a few months ago I saw that Joanna, maybe, the lovely designer, she makes a lot of colorwork patterns. And she's currently writing a book with Line magazine, so I'm really curious to see that. And basically a few months ago, she pointed out that she has a full alphabet that with her designs, at least one has all of the letter of the no, that's not in that order, Audrey. That's it, my brain is melted. 13 minutes, yay. Basically, the alphabet is covered by at least one of her design every time. So this is the X letter, Xyris, and I'm just missing the Q. I don't know what I'm going to be able to find that starts with the Q to name a design after. But yeah, this is, the X is done with Xyris. So yeah, I'm going to move on to another finished project, because yes, I finished something. I have completed all the secrecy super James Bond type of projects. So now I am able to continue my personal works in progress. And so I have actually completed this one, which is the Breeze Racerback by Jessie Maid. And so this is a racerback tank top, which is really flowy and loose and nice. And I wanted to knit it for quite a while, and Chantal, which is Shanty Knits, she has a podcast on YouTube. She's Shanty D on Instagram, I believe. She kindly offered it to me for my birthday back in June. Irony, today, while I'm recording this, we're the 11th. It is Chantal's birthday, so that is quite fun that I'm talking about this on Chantal's birthday while she offered me the pattern for my birthday. So she's a lovely person. You can check her podcast if you want some inspiration. She does really nice customized knits every time. She's really, really good at this. And yeah, so she offered me this tank top, and it was the occasion for me to decide to finally make it. It's a really, really nice, super smooth project. Like, I did start it a while ago, but since I had to pause it, like, it kind of stayed on its own for a bit too long. But as soon as I picked it back up, it just went so smoothly. So you start it at the bottom, you knit in the round until the armholes, you bind off for the armholes, then you knit the two fronts, decreasing like this, then you gather again the stitches from the back, you do the back in the racerback shape, and then you connect everything here at the top, and it makes this really, really cool project, and really, really nice and pleasant to wear. I really like it. The thing that's interesting about this is that there are two gauges in the pattern. It's very rare that there's two different gauges for the same stitch motif in a design. But here it does make sense for two reasons. The first one is that, so this is really loose and it uses fingering weight yarn, but obviously you can use a thicker yarn if you don't want it as transparent and you want a more dense knit. You can use a spore or decay weight or hold yarn together if you like. But if you do use fingering weight, on the body, the gauge is like 18 stitches per 10 centimeters. So that's like really transparent, really see-through, really big, loose stitches, which makes it so drapey and flowy and airy. But then when you knit it, because you knit it in the round, but when you switch to knitting the stockinette flat for the upper body, like the two fronts and the back, the gauge is then 23 stitches, I think, flat. And it makes sense because that way, even if the body is all see-through and transparent, at least the upper body is slightly denser, so it's not as transparent, and it also holds its shape better since it's a denser gauge. And also this goes with the fact that a lot of people have a different gauge when they knit flat versus in the round. So for a lot of people, this will just change naturally. So that in the pattern, it doesn't say to change needle or something. It's just that if you start knitting the stockinette flat, your gauge most likely will change. Now, I know it's not the case for me. My gauge in the round and in flat stockinette is pretty similar. So I knew I had to change needles. So that's what I did. I used 4.5 millimeter needles for the body, and I went down to 4 millimeter for the upper body. And you can see how here it's like so loose and big and stuff, and how it's a bit tighter here at the top. But yeah, this just is a really clever thing. But I get that it might be confusing if you don't know it. The pattern is really well written, really like no biggie. It's like she really explains things. Like she will have a short sentence to tell you to do check the stitch count, do this. So it's a really perfect beginner-friendly pattern for a really quick and nice result. And I really, really like it. It's really fun. I still don't know how to wear racerback things. So I don't have the proper underwear. And it's quite funny because, so I took pictures of it, and obviously I took pictures of the back because, like, if you take pictures of a knitting project, you kind of show the features of it, right? But I had to, if you see, I probably will post the picture on Instagram in the next week or so, and you will see that little secret that basically when I took the pictures of the back, I just took off my bra straps and like stuck it in the body. So there's you can sort of see that there's a little bulge in the fabric there, and it's because I basically shoved my bra straps just so that they wouldn't show on my back and you would actually see the racer back. But yeah, that was just a silly behind the scenes picture thingy. But yeah, like you can wear this over a swimsuit. Like we have a swimming pool. We have like a not in the ground swimming pool, but like a little swimming pool that's up. I can't go. It's too hot to go swimming. We're at that stage. Basically, you cannot put a foot outside between 10 a.m. and 7 at night. It's like horrible. So we're at that point where it's too dangerous to go swimming because I really have trouble with the heat and with the sun, so I really cannot deal with it. So yeah, I can't even enjoy the pool. But if I could, in an alternate universe where everything would be nice and capped at 30 degrees Celsius, like there's no need for 40. I don't even understand why 30 over 35 exists, you know. It's like, I don't see the point of it. So can we please delete the 35, 40 plus degrees Celsius, can we just remove them? That would be great. But yeah, like I said, I do wear a lot of my knits in the mid-season, and I think this, with a cardigan. Now I do want to make one of the bralettes by Jessie Maid as well. She makes patterns for bralettes. She has a few of them, which are really lovely. Yeah, I think that would be nice as well in the mid-season. But yeah, I really like it. It's really sweet. I used Tôt le Matin yarns, which is a French indie dyer, and in her frais, so fresh colorway, which is this cream with speckles of fuchsia and orange, and it's just really nice and light and summery and happy feeling. It's a color that makes me happy. So that's quite sweet. And yeah, I really like the project. I think I said everything. I think I have. And I'm really happy to have it done. So now I'm going to move on to some works in progress, because yes, I have a new work in progress. I have a new design that I started. So this is a design that is scheduled for October. So I deleted the designs I had planned for September. So you don't need to know the details, but I have some issues, right? And so yeah, I've just been a little bit overwhelmed with work, and I couldn't catch up on time, basically. So what I did is that the designs that I had planned for September, I just noped them out of here. And yeah, well, there's the mystery knit along that's going to happen all through September, so that's a thing. And there's also going to be something else, but it's not new. But yeah, I just couldn't. Basically, yeah, it was unreasonable for me to try and catch up. So I don't like doing this because it kind of messed up my schedule for future collaborations. I had to delay things with certain indie dyers, and I feel very bad, because when you're collaborating with a dyer, it's sort of a mutual help, even though technically I'm more affected by it, because most of my revenue depends on this, the designs that I do. But yeah, I just had to, because if I go completely over my head and I do a burnout, I'm not helping anyone, aren't I? So yeah, I had to just move a little bit of things and get some fresh hair, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to catch up a little bit and get a little bit of advance on my designs. So that is why I am working on a design that will only come in October now. So yes, this is a wrap that I'm knitting in collaboration with Le Fil de Sidonie, which is a French indie dyer. And yeah, she contacted me a long time ago asking if I would like to work with her yarns, and so we talked about it, and we settled on making a stole, a wrap, if you will. And so we kind of had to change plans, because in the meantime, we had an idea, and unfortunately I saw, well, unfortunately, no, but I saw then that a show was published with a very similar stitch motif, so I didn't want to, since I caught it up on time, I didn't want to pursue my idea, which would have been too similar. So yeah, that was the opportunity to find something new, and I have. And I'm quite happy, because I have an idea that I want to try to make the construction a little bit more fun, rather than having a regular rectangle, basically. So we're going for textured lace. So this is what it looks so far. Basically, this is going to be one edge of the stole, and you have this big lace motif. Someone mentioned on Instagram that it kind of looked like bats, and yeah, it does. It's quite funny. And you have this basically barred rib here, which is really, really fun. And yes, so this is the edge of the stole, and I'm merging now this into stockinette. So from now on, there will just be the interesting ribbing here and stockinette in the middle. So most of the stole is going to be this. This way it's not going to be too heavy on the eye. We still wanted something to be a little bit delicate. And so yeah, the plan is to make one half like this, then do the other half and graft them together with an interesting grafting technique. I hope it's gonna work. We'll see. But that's the plan. And yeah, I really like how it's working so far. She's making new colorways for the autumn, basically. And so we picked this, which is like a sort of a medium gray with like purpley burgundy and charcoal speckles. And it's really, really pretty. Yeah. First I felt like we could do something very lacy, like more traditional lace, really something open, but like he would have lost the speckles and that would have been a shame. Whereas something that's a little bit more textured, like this, I think it shows the speckles so well. That's much more interesting to me. And yeah, the base is a blend of merino, nylon and alpaca, so it has a little bit of fluff. And it's gonna drape really beautifully. And yeah, so this is what I've been working on at the moment. It has a name, sort of. I was thinking of Kyrielle, which is a word that means, it means several things. It means a suite of music notes. It's also how you call a technique in poetry, which is about repeating the last verse of the last sentence. I'm sorry, I don't know I don't remember the technical, but what I do remember is that the technical poetry terms in English and in French are reversed, and that there are some words that means something in French and the same word in English means the opposite. So it's a little bit complicated, but Kyrielle can also be the last sentence of every verse when it's repeated in a poem. In general, it designates like a multitude of things, a bunch of different things all together in a flow, like a flow of a bunch of things, basically. And yes, it starts with a K because I needed a K for my design alphabet thingy. And I just find it quite funny how this was totally artificial, right? I was looking for a word that starts with K, and it didn't matter what it meant or if it was in any sort related to the design, because it just needed to be somewhat pretty and a decent word, and also don't have accents, because like I can't use there's a lot of, in French we use a lot of accents on our letters, and the problem is if I do that, in some cases the names of the pattern will not show up properly on your devices or on certain websites, because they don't match like English alphabet standards, and so I can't use things that have accents, so I try to avoid them. But yeah, besides these criteria, it didn't matter what word it was, and I ended up with Kyrielle, and in the end it's quite funny because it does kind of make sense. Because like if you think of a multitude of things, of a flow, of repeats, I think we kind of feel that here with the ribbing that's like stack, like a lot of little things, and like the rhythmic repeats of this. It sort of works, even though it was completely made up. It sort of works. That's often the case with things, creative things. But yes, this is the shawl I'm currently, the stole, the wrap I'm currently working on. And yeah, since it's going to be a fairly straightforward constructions, I suppose I'm going to be able to call for testers relatively soon for this, in hopes to have it ready indeed for October. But yes, that's it for my works in progress and projects in general. I did want to share some yarn with you because I forgot to talk about it in last time. completely forgot. So a while ago I found via the Dutch Yarn Barn that I don't know what. Okay, so I recorded the French episode and I can't say barn properly. A barn. I feel like I just get some sort of a Texan accent when I try to say that word, barn. Anyway, ridiculous. But the Dutch Yarn Barn, which is an indie dyer from the Netherlands. She is a natural dyer. She makes really pretty soft yarns. And a while ago, she revealed that she created this yarn. Basically, she made a blend with 100% Dutch yarn, like gathered and spun in the Netherlands. And I just found that really interesting, and I usually like these kinds of ideas. So I decided to get some. And basically she offers smaller quantities of it. It's called Dishk. Sorry, Dutch people. And yeah, basically it's a blend of Textilar, Zwartsbols, our best friends, and baby alpaca. And it is really a lovely, lovely yarn. It's like scrunchy, you know, it's that dry rustic feel, not the prickly one. It has some sort of a shine to it, which I think it is the Textilar that do it. And it has a little halo. It's just a really, really interesting yarn. And so it's a DK weight. It has 232 meters per 100 gram. Yeah, and basically you can get it in the natural undyed shade like this, but they also dye it either with, like, you can select it like indigo, madder, logwood. I think logwood is in there. I'm not sure, but you can get it dyed if you like. And yeah, it's just a really, really interesting yarn. And basically I got it because I saw that on her Instagram she had she was knitting it with a full-on cabled sweater, and I just loved the texture that it had. It was really, really cool. So the plan is to make a really cozy cabled sweater with this sometimes in 6 years, right? But I just wanted to show it to you because I think it's a really cool yarn, and if you're interested in unique blends and everything, I thought maybe you would be interested in checking it out. And yes, so I'm done with like knitting stuff. Last time I showed you that I started a weaving project, a weaving wall hanging project, and yeah, it was just weird if I didn't show it to you finished, but I don't have it with me anymore. It was sent to my sister, which was the recipient, so I'm just gonna pop a picture here of the finished thing. And yeah, I just wanted to show it to you how it looked once it was finished. I didn't do anything much different compared to what I talked about last time. I did some sumac braids again, and also at the top I used a different sort of arrangement. I made more of a twill weaving. So like I said last time, if you don't know anything about weaving, the basic thing is that you take a thread and you go over one, under one, over one, under one, etc. And you do the opposite on the next rows. Now when you want to do a twill type thing, let's say you go over one, under one, over one, under one, and on the row above you offset it by one. So you start to go in a diagonal, which makes this twill effect. So this is what I did on the top in the big white portion. And yeah, as expected, it doesn't look much like the original drawing I did, but yeah, it looks nice, and my sister did like it, so that's all that matters, isn't it? So yeah, that was a little weaving adventure, and now I also have new things to share. So I discovered a new to me type of embroidery thingy, which I gather is called bargello or long stitch. Basically it's like cross stitch but instead of doing crosses, you make long vertical stitches. And I just found Hello Bargello's account on Instagram, So she's the maker who makes kits for this. She makes patterns, designs and stuff, and I just find it really interesting and really cool. What I like about this, it's like cross stitch, is that technically it's like so basic, right? You just make crosses or you make like a line. But it's in the arrangement of these lines and in the arrangement of the colors that you can make such interesting things. And in the case of the long stitch, you end up with some sort of psychedelic sort of shapes and colors, and you can like invert gradients and things, and I just find it kind of fun. And I saw on her Instagram that she's making basically kits for Christmas ornaments. So they're Christmas ornaments using in this craft basically, and like she sells the kits where you can get all the materials, but you can also just buy the pattern, which is what I did because she's based in the States, and at the moment the States shipping stuff and to and from the States is a little bit complicated, but yeah, I have to send stuff for a really important thing, and yeah, I'm a bit scared of doing it, but I have to. But yeah, so I just bought the patterns for the things, and for the Christmas ornaments it was a pre-order because I guess she's just gonna do it in maybe in autumn so that you get ready for Christmas and everything. But in the meantime, I got the patterns for some earrings made in this craft, so it's like the Rhiannon earrings, and so I did this. And so, yeah, this is what it looks like. So you see, it's like long strokes, vertical strokes, basically, and you stack them in a certain way. And so I made a couple of earrings with it, which is kind of fun. Hey. And I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. Again, the thing is, it's technically so simple, but it's just really satisfying, and it's such a different motion from knitting that it's quite relaxing. So I made these, right? And then I started making another pair, these ones. And this is the beginning of one, so you can see. So basically you use canvas, either fabric canvas, so you can, like cross stitch basically, you can use in pillows and stuff, or you can use plastic canvas, so yay plastic, life in plastic. But like I'm so upset at the throwaway one-use masks that are being thrown everywhere. And I really try to be mindful of plasticky things. So yeah, I bought this. I bought like one sheet of it, and I'm gonna use the hell out of it. But yeah, you can get the fabric one. But when you do get the plastic one, you can make hard stuff with it. So like earrings or some other type of furniture thingy. And yeah, basically it's you have the squares and you just put your thread in it. And as far as material, like the thread that you use, if in cross stitch typically use cotton, here it's actually wool that you use. So I actually got some DMC wool, DMC, which is the typical brand for all needlecraft thingy. And basically it's their tapestry wool. So it's just a decay. It's a decay wool, 4-ply decay, basically. I did get some of the DMC thing because I wanted to check what type of yarn it was, but basically you can do it with any type of wool. Yeah, the thing with it, again, is like the color arrangements and things, because it's so simple to do, but it's like, this is exactly the colors that were planned in the pattern, like this and this. Because I'm quite bad at putting colors together, so I would be terrible at it. But yeah, this is the key to it, because actually making your own pattern is gotta be very, very simple, because yeah, you can, if you see one, you can pretty much just copy it on your own. But yeah, I really appreciated the Hello Bargelo patterns because they're very clear. She has a lot of videos also available on YouTube where she explains everything from the materials to the stitch to how to make the stitch. And yeah, it's very fun. Like I said, it's not technically difficult, but there's things to make it neater, basically, and kind of like a cross stitch and embroidery. If you look at the back, this is how you know that I didn't really know what to do. But yeah, so this was my first try, and as you can see, I don't know why, but I basically decided to do one side first and then the other first, so I had to cut the thread and put it in a useless place, so it's a bit messy at the back. And this was my second try, which is better. But there's also a technical thing, is that when you put stitches upwards, because you always go in a diagonal, right? So when you go upwards, you're supposed to do it in a certain order, and when you go downwards, you're supposed to do it in a different order. And here I forgot to do that. I did read the instructions and the tutorial that said to do this. Did I do it? No. But that's another way that you can make your work even neater and cleaner. It's kind of the thing with even cross stitch, is that it's not difficult to do. It's difficult to do it super neat. So that's kind of the same principle, but I just think the result is, stay here. I just think the result is really cool, and I kind of like crazy earrings, so I'm all for it. Yay! I'm gonna make them mixy, like, and now this one I'm gonna make it in the right direction so that they're sort of mismatched a little bit, because I found this is fun. But yeah, that's the plan. Maybe you keep seeing me do a few of these because I just thought they were fun. And I shared, when I found Hello Bargelo's account on Instagram, I shared it, and a lot of you said you found that it was really pretty, so I just thought I'd mention it and I'd show you, because I thought maybe you'd be interested in checking it out. There's not a lot of resources online on this, like it's all going into the same sort of patterns all the time, which yeah, but like I said, it's quite easy to make your own if you have a decent sense of color, which you know I don't, but but I can try and get better. So yeah, this, I think I didn't forget anything. This is everything I've been working on and everything that I wanted to share with you for this new episode. So yay, I don't know when I will make a new episode because I have some things to share in September, but I don't know if I can share them before they happen. So to say, so I just have to see. If I don't have time to record another podcast episode before the beginning of September, then you will see me a few days in September. And you can get the news from Instagram. Now, I know a lot of people don't see my Instagram posts. I know, because I have X amount of followers, and I can see that Instagram only shows my picture to like 1/8 of that. So I'm like, thanks, Instagram. And I get a few messages from people saying, I didn't see any of your posts for like the past 2 months or so. Like, I know. There's not much to do about it. Like, the only way to make sure that you really see someone's post is to like all of their posts and comment all of their posts, and that's exhausting. Like, I don't follow that many people. I think I follow about 400 people, and yeah, sometimes I'm like, wait, hold on, what is this person doing? I haven't seen them in forever. And then I go to their profile and I've actually been posting, but Instagram just doesn't show me their thing, and it's a little bit frustrating. So if you don't want to miss on any news, I don't know, yeah, just from time to time, just check over on Instagram. Losing my voice. Because this is where I will be announcing things. Well, right on time. Now, the thing is, I don't talk a lot. I rarely talk. I mostly grunt. I'm joking, but I'm minimal when it comes to talking, and I hate talking for no reason. I mean, I'm not like a small talk kind of person. Like, I'm French, okay? So that's that. But I really don't talk a lot in my day-to-day life. So whenever I record a podcast, I talk for like 2 hours straight. And so then I basically don't have a voice for the next 3 days. So I'm at the end of the podcast. So now I can go back to not talking and just grunting and nodding at the people that I see. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you are doing well, that you are staying safe, staying hydrated. And yeah, I will see you very soon. Bye!